Friends from media, good afternoon. Welcome to today's regular press conference. Now the floor is open.
CCTV. Yesterday, the China-EU summit was held in Beijing. How does China view this summit? Before the summit, relevant EU chiefs said they will continue to express concerns on the rebalancing of trade ties and other issues. Any progress on that? This year marks the 50th anniversary of the establishment of China-EU diplomatic ties. Yesterday, President Xi Jinping met with European Council President Costa and President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, who paid a visit to China. Together with the EU leaders, Premier Li Qiang co-chaired the 25th China-EU summit. They had long, in-depth and candid talks and exchanged views on strategic issues concerning bilateral relations, specific issues in China-EU cooperation and international hotspots of mutual concern. President Xi Jinping drew on the important experience and lessons from the 50-year-long development of bilateral relations, seeking common ground while shoving differences, open cooperation, mutual benefit. These are also the important principles and direction of efforts for developing China-EU relations in the future. He put forward 3 propositions on the future development of China-EU relations. We should uphold mutual respect, consolidate partnership, uphold open cooperation, properly handle frictions and differences, practice multilateralism, and safeguard international rules and order. Premier Li Qiang stressed that as long as both China and the EU earnestly uphold free trade, the international economy and trade will stay dynamic. As long as both of them firmly practice multilateralism, the trend towards a multipolar world will continue to strengthen. Important common understandings were reached at the summit. Both sides attached importance to China-EU ties and agreed to uphold and deepen partnership, maintain strategic communication, enhance understanding and mutual trust, and write a more splendid chapter in the next 50 years of China-EU relations. Both sides agreed to maintain open cooperation, broaden ties in trade and investment, and achieve more positive results of cooperation. Both sides expressed their commitment to properly addressing trade frictions and differences through dialogue and consultation, and their opposition to decoupling and the severing of industrial and supply chains. Both sides agreed to jointly safeguard the international rules and order established after World War II, uphold multilateralism, free trade, support the peaceful settlement of international disputes through political means, jointly address global challenges, and make new contributions to world peace and development. The two sides issued a joint statement on climate change. They stressed that the China-EU Green Partnership is an important part of the China-EU partnership, which demonstrates the active willingness and joint efforts of the two sides to address climate change, achieve green development, and make the United Nations Climate Change Conference in Belém a full success. Both sides agreed to forge an upgraded version of the China-EU export control dialogue mechanism, have timely communication on each other's concerns, and jointly keep the industrial and supply chains between China and Europe stable and unimpeded. As in any bilateral relations, differences do exist between China and the EU. On economic and trade issues which are of concern to the EU, China shared its position in a comprehensive, patient, in-depth and detailed way, with a friendly, respectful and candid attitude. China stressed that the China-EU economic and trade relations are mutually complementary and win-win in nature. They should and can well be a dynamic equilibrium formed in interactions. China is committed to realizing sustainable and balanced growth of trade with the EU. We are willing to import more quality products from the EU that meet China's market demand and hope the EU will ease restrictions on high-tech exports to China. China stressed that whether there is overcapacity should be determined in the global context and by the market. Take the new energy vehicle industry as an example. The International Energy Agency estimated that there will be a shortage of 27 million new energy vehicles globally by 2030. China's new energy capacity is advanced capacity that can bridge the world's green gap. It's a contribution, not a nexus. The false Chinese overcapacity narrative reflects an incomplete understanding of the relations between supply and demand in a globalized market, and is just a pretext for protectionist measures. China reiterated that China's industrial subsidy policy follows the principles of openness, fairness, and compliance, and strictly adheres to the WTO rules. Industrial subsidy policies are widely adopted in countries around the world. The EU itself has provided a large number of subsidies for the development of relevant industries and should not apply double standards on this issue. On Ukraine, China pointed out that the Ukraine issue is not and should not become an issue between China and the EU. We reiterated our consistent position of promoting talks for peace and political settlement, and expressed our willingness to maintain communication with the EU. China also made clear its strong position on the EU sanctions on Chinese companies citing Russian-related factors. The two sides agreed to enhance understanding and trust and through dialogue and properly handle relevant issues. Overall speaking, the summit is positive and constructive. It's conducive to enhancing mutual understanding and trust and creating more favorable conditions for future cooperation. China hopes the EU will work with China in the same direction to jointly ushering in an even brighter future for the bilateral relations. Next one, please.
Good afternoon. Question from
法新社，法国总统马克龙昨日表示，法国将会正式承认巴勒斯坦国。他会在9月联大会议上承认。中方对此有何评论？
巴勒斯坦
The question of Palestine is at the core of the Middle East issue. The two-state solution is the only practical way out of the Palestinian question. China supports the high-level conference on implementing the two-state solution at the United Nations. We will continue to work with the international community to promote the ceasefire in Gaza, alleviate humanitarian crisis, implement the two-state solution, and finally achieve a comprehensive, just, and lasting resolution of the Palestinian issue. Next one, please.
question from AFP.
法新社，美商务部长昨日告诉 CNBC 记者说 ，TikTok 将会给予美国，除非中国给予美国更多控制 TikTok 的权利。中方对此有何评论？
China has made clear our principled position on TikTok issue many times. About the consultation mechanism between China and the United States, we've already released the relevant information. Next one, please.
Please use microphone.
I'm Sohaib from Al Jazeera.
半岛电视台，半岛电视台。现在加沙的人道主义情况已经越来越严峻，现在很多人因饥饿死亡，而不是轰炸而死。中方认为国际社会应该采取什么行动？如何扩大人道主义援助？现在数周以来，他们已经没有人道主义援助了。中方对此有何评论？
中方
China closely follows the current situation in Gaza. We hope all relevant parties can reach a ceasefire arrangement as soon as possible and promote the early de-escalation of the situation to honestly alleviate the humanitarian crisis. Next one, please. Any more question?
好，今天的节。
This is the end of today's regular press conference. Thank you.